Nisboere word met trots geborg deur Laveld Agrochem en JAC Motors. Helikultuur, oftewel slakboerdery, is 'n stapelonderneming van Gaia's Grace Food Farm. Op die Alkmaarplaas word daar uit liefde vir die natuur en met passie vir volhoubaarheid geboer.
So my journey started probably around 2018 or 2017. I was working in a call center and I just wanted to do something really different with my life, something more meaningful. So I looked in and something outdoors. So I looked into a whole lot of farming and at that stage, micro farming because it's very aligned to my values, and that's how I came to the snails. So Gaia is, it means Mother Earth, and our philosophy is that she's the center of everything that we do. So we really try to be mindful of how we farm and then also the people involved in the community. So for me, it was important that that was part of the name, and then the grace, like, I think farming is so hard that grace feels, you know, it's like by her grace that we have a yield, we have a harvest. So I farmed the Helix aspersia, the maxima, the bigger snail. It's kind of the snail farming, local snail farming practice. We import the breeders from Greece mostly. It's a Greek snail, but it's their common brown garden snail essentially. But that is the land-eating snail. So snail farming for me is unique in that it's got a very low footprint, very low carbon footprint, zero waste. You can produce quite a high yield in a very small space, and it's still ethically done. You can still farm ethically with almost, we farm on a hectare of our land, snails. The how we farm is really important, so we keep our snails healthy in an as natural environment as possible. So we try and simulate a suburban garden where they thrive, and we pay specific attention to the soil. They're bottom feeders. We give them a dry feed as well, and try to supplement with greens. So they love kakibos as well. So when kakibos season, it's like taking them flowers.
Die Johannesburg Culinary and Pastry School en Gaia's Grace deel 'n passie vir samewerking en innovasie. Beide slakboerdery en die kulinaire bedryf floreer op spanwerk. Die kookskool en Sandra se gedeelde waardes en sin vir samewerking het aanleiding gegee tot 'n kookkompetisie om die klassieke knoffelbotter slakgereg vanuit 'n ander hoek te benader en te bedink. Die kompetisie het opwindende en verbeeldingryke disse opgelewer, soos gerookte slakke en 'n Meksikaanse styl pineappel en slak salsa. 'n Kragtige tentoonstelling van kreatiewe vennootskappe en natuurlik die veelsidigheid van slakke.
Our product is quite niche. If you look at a fresh snail, which is what we produce, versus a tinned snail, you'll see there's a size difference, there's going to be a texture and a taste difference. So our snails are very much aimed towards a market where people want to experience food and food textures and the way that flavors can be combined. So generally it's delis, restaurants, sort of fine dining restaurants, and catering companies that do weddings and big functions. So we're testing out a whole lot of stuff. I've tested out loofah, so we produce loofah sponges. We have chickens and ducks. Then we have the snails. We've got some variety of fresh produce that I'm testing, like tomatoes and butternut and pumpkin grow really well here. We've got loads of bananas and pawpaw, subtropical, and then of course macadamia nuts. A little bit of coffee, and then loads and loads of medicinal plants and herbs. So in amongst all these little bits and pieces that we're sort of trialing and testing out, we have accommodation. That sort of helps us get through the winter months when the snails aren't producing. And we have this platform, we're on a platform called Workaway. So we've got two different types of accommodation, a little bit more premium, and then we have a backpackers, which we also lease out, but when we need extra hands, we have a Workaway come and stay with us, and the exchange is a couple of hours of work a day for board and lodging. So I think if I had any advice, it would be open to all the advice you get, do a risk analysis, and make sure that you've sort of done a full business plan before you. And even when you've done all of that, there's so many variables. So I read somewhere you got to know when to grit and when to quit. And I think farming and being an entrepreneur is a lot of grit. There's times where you just want to pack it all in, and those are the times where you're almost probably so close to the upswing.
Sukses gedei op samewerking. En dis immers die fondasie vir 'n volhoubare nisonderneming wat sy mark ken en dit met selfvertroue uitbrei. Nisboere word met trots geborg deur Laveld Agrochem en JAC Motors,